I'm here with David, who's written about one of my favourite fairy tales.
Camelot 2050 is an action-adventure story aimed at young adults, ongoing readers, based in the world of King Arthur and Arthurian legend. The twist is that at the Battle of Camelot, where Arthur was reputed to have died, he in fact survives. Camelot persists through a parallel timeline of British history to a point where it exists kind of as the throne does now, an executive body overseeing Parliament. The knights wear powered armour, they have technological swords, and they ride cybernetic steeds. But there's not much for them to do for the past 100 years. There have been no wars. So on the eve of the King's Games in the year 2050, Camelot is attacked by forces under the banner of the Purple Dragon, the forces of Morgana Le Fay. And it is so devastating an attack that a group of young squires are sent on a quest to Avalon to bring back the wizard Merlin.
This the same Merlin from Welsh folklore who got some dragons drunk.
Absolutely.
All right, now this is you've written the first two books of what's going to be a trilogy.
Yes.
And when's the third one coming out?
Third one is due in March 2019.
2019.
2019.
Oh, so by the time this airs, it's probably already out then. So
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay. This actually, I've just noticed. This is a really pretty cover. It's really well done. Is this an artist you know who's done this?
Yes. There's an artist who did a project for a friend of mine. His name is Omocan Cirit. He's from Turkey. He lives in Glasgow, and he's a fantastic artist, and he's a pleasure to work with.
I've never seen a knight carrying a British SA-80 before, so that's just awesome. And is that kind of symptomatic of what the whole book's about?
Yes, indeed. I mean, you'll come across lots of sort of classic and mythological references to the knights and the Round Table and men-at-arms, but when you talk about the soldiers that support the Knights of Camelot, you are talking about sort of modern SWAT troops, so assault rifles, grenades, and body armour.
That's awesome, actually. All right, so what can we expect in the third book? So,
well, let's say the first book is the quest to bring back Merlin. The second book is the beginning of the Le Fay War. There is a massive genetically created and cybernetically enhanced dragon in that one. And the third book is called Dark Magic, and that's when Morgana really cuts loose and brings back the old ways of magic.
That's awesome. So where did this idea come from?
Well, I've been a live role player for many years, and back at the beginning of the millennium, there was a spate of online freeform role plays. We couldn't always get together to tabletops, so a GM would send out a situation via email, and the players would respond with their actions, and it would all sort of come back together. Camelot 2050 was my concept, because I've always been a fan of the Arthurian legend and Saturday morning science fiction cartoons. And I never found the two sort of satisfactorily meshed together, so I decided to do it as a freeform roleplay. The game petered out after a couple of months, but I had a bulk of material to work with, and I started filling out where I saw the game going. And then pretty soon I had sort of 50,000 words, and I wasn't allowed to stop.
So what made you start writing, choose to be a writer?
I'll say, when I left school, I started in media, and at the time I found out that it wasn't really what you know, it's who you know. So I wanted to be an actor, I wanted to go on radio, I wanted to leave something behind. That was the main core of it. I wanted something that was going to outlive me and bring happiness to people, decades and centuries down the line.
It is. I suppose, in many ways, writing is the nearest thing to time travel, isn't it? 'Cause you're literally sending your thoughts to the future.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes.
Have you always been somebody that tells stories? Did you start sort of young as a?
I think it started GCSE English, where we had to write do a piece of creative writing. I really enjoyed that. 5 years later, I got into live action roleplay, and I started writing quests and adventures for the players. Tabletopping, it's all kind of been writing stories and seeing where they go. There have been a couple of projects that kind of petered out, but Camelot 2050 has been a long-running work of, a labour of love for me, and it's great to see that it's now getting out into the world.
It's fantastic. So thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today. I wish you all the best with your book, and look forward to reading the third one. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, 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 for those children in Africa who have nothing, donate to the Butterfly Project. Doesn't matter how much, just what you can.